Classic Truck Rescue. It's happy time for all the people that want to see me building my building and nothing else. Even though the channel's called Classic Truck Rescue, we will rescue trucks and work on trucks on this channel. But today we're working on the building. I'm still in it to win it, folks. But homie's got a lot on his plates, especially with Jamie injured from her accident. I'm having to do double time, but that's all right because I can do that. I went looking around at the building. We have some issues to conquer before we can even begin on actually the second half of the third and final section of my building. We're going to be raising this in the next few videos, folks. There's a little wisdom to the way I'm doing it. A lot of people have said, oh Rick, you've already got 2/3 of it done. Sheet it, get it covered. I can't, and I'll show you why in a future video. There's issues on the part that I have done that need to be rectified before I go slapping metal on top of it. And my whole purpose of doing this final section was, one, to get it off the ground. So it was sitting in the bushes. You saw me clean it up. They were high. But I want to get her built, and I want to get it perfectly square over on this end. I want to have one corner and one end that's perfectly square. And that's where I'm going to start my sheeting. And as we get more covered, yes, it'll be better. And I can put stuff out of the weather and the wood will be out of the weather. But the other two sections need a lot of work. I know what I need to do, and it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to do it. And I'll show you what we're going to deal with today on this final section. I knew that was going to happen. I said to myself, make sure you unplug that air compressor before you start your intro, because it'll certainly go off. And it did. But anyway, there's a few things that I have to overcome here. Here, come with me on the lower video quality, but you can zoom in and hold it camera. I know the video's not as good on this, but I have a lot more control with this camera. Anyways, as you can see, I got some new woods. Not brand new. There's a guy that I can get wood from, and I went and got that from him. I think I took all the 12-foot long 2x6s that he had. It's enough wood for me to finish off that final section though. And that wood over there, I've decided, is going to be used for other projects, just like that wood over there. We're talking lean-tos for jet and some goat things and stuff like that. It's just not of the quality and caliber of wood that I want on my building. So I'm gonna pony up, and thank you Patreon crew, I'm gonna go get a whole bunch of brand new wood to tie these sections together. Now this is the issue we have. I'm not gonna show you the issue yet. This is what we got done last time we were working on it. This section, it's the gable end section, and we have to finish this section over here before we can raise it up and attach it to that section. But I want to get this raised up, get all the sheeting on it except for the very end, and then use this straight and square and plumb section to correct the other sections. As you can see, the truss that we last worked on is still very straight, perfectly straight. As a matter of fact, it can hide behind the posts. And so we've got a good straight, level, square plumb thing to attach this to, and this is a problem. I think I've been dodging this a little too long. We have the tools, we have the equipment, we have the technology, we've been learned how to fix it, and I'm going to do it. But one problem that I have, two problems that I have with this truss that I didn't have with any of the others, is this one got cracked somewhere, and it used to look a lot worse where it was cracked, but I do remember Lou telling me to fix that. That crack's a lot worse than it looks. It used to look worse. I know it's still there. Oh, here it is. Here it is here, folks. See that? I got to fix that. We'll just go all the way down from there to there, and we're going to put some splicey boards on the outside of it. And we're going to do that before we start straightening this out, because it is straight where it's cracked. So we'll get that fixed first. But then, this is the problem. You can't really notice it that much. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera or not, but that bottom beam is pushed out a little bit. And I've had different crews out here working. Not really crews. I hired a couple of guys a couple of times, and sometimes they changed. And I think somebody put in some rat runs, that's those boards right there and right there, that were a little bit too long. You can see it here, the bottom. The bottom is bowed. Anyway, I'm going to take those loose, and I'm going to get Yunkin over there and put his bucket up against that, and I'm going to push it until this is perfectly straight going along here, and then I'll have to cut those down a little bit and put them back in there. That's where we have to start. Let's get the bottom straight, and then you know how we do it. It hasn't been that long. We will make this section right here perfectly straight and get all the purlins in there and all the purlin blocks, and then we will have a perfectly square straight section. We'll get to putting the winch boxes on top of the posts, and we'll go grab that dude right there to get that done. That thing's running great and working great. This thing's running and working great. And really I need to get everything up, all the wood up and everything fixed before this ground gets soaked. The last time I worked on this building, I believe I titled the episode Boiling and Building. It was 100+ degrees out here. Right now it's nice, about 60-65 degrees, and I can work in this, folks. I much prefer to work when it's colder than when it's scorching hot. But enough bumping my gums. Let's get this bottom straightened out, and I'm just going to set you guys up on a tripod and you can watch, and I'll get the bottom straightened out. We'll get that little cracky spot fixed, and we'll start straightening her up. Take a good look at that. It's going to be much different when I get done. I'm looking forward to this. So the first thing I have to do is to get these rat runs detached from the brackets. And I don't want to tear the brackets up or the boards. I do have to cut a little bit of the boards off, but there's no sense destroying them. So I'm hoping that I can grind the heads off with this thing. There we go. I think if I cut those off flush with the brackets, actually maybe I can pick it up enough to push on it with my tractor. Let's see about that. Let's see, yeah, that's enough ski right there. I'm surprised those have that much movement in them. Yeah, we'll just do it like this, folks. Just like this. Now this bottom truss, this bottom beam is loose. We'll put another one of these purlin blocks down here. That seems to work pretty good for holding that rat run up. Now I can push it this way with my tractor. That a lot better. That actually looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and lop those rat runs off with my Sawzall and re-secure them to that truss. So I decided to go ahead and put an extra wood block on top here because my tractor's still holding this bottom beam up this way. So I know it's going to be pulling against this rat run board. So I'm going to give it all the help I can. Well, folks, the large orange orb in the sky is setting over the horizon. all I got done today was I got the bottom truss straightened out. I'll be honest with you, I got called away on, got to pay some bills stuff, so I had to go do that, but I did make it back in time to finish up straightening out this truss on the bottom there. And I had to leave Yunkin running for a really long time, but if you look across the bottom there, it's much better. I forgot to look when I backed Yunkin up. I forgot to watch and see how much it deflected, but I don't think it did. It looks real straight to me. As long as that bottom cord is hiding between this post and the one on the other side, we're straight. And so the good news is stuff happens. Like I try to plan my days out, but I'm juggling a lot of different things. And I just had a guy leave a comment. The guy said, "You bounce all over the place." And I said, "Yes, I do." I said, "I have to. If you don't understand that, I probably can't explain it to you." But I did also say that there's always a description in my videos. I don't clickbait people. What you see in the description is what's in the video. You're not going to read a description on my channel that says my video is about a windstorm and find out that Jamie's storming mad because her blow dryer's broken. I don't roll like that. Whatever's in the description is what the video is. So if you read the description and you don't like what's in the description, or it's not something you want to watch, then you don't have to. I try to make sure that what you're watching is what you want to watch, but I also have to bounce all over the place because I got to pay bills. And unless you've developed 25 acres of raw land, bushes and trees, you probably don't understand that, you know, the areas that you clear, you got to keep clearing. The stuff that you build needs fixing, and the more you do, the more upkeep you got. Also, my bills, when I come out here to work on the building, I can't, it's not like shutting off your mail at the post office. I can't tell my bills. I knew that was going to happen. My bills, they don't just stop coming in. I can't just tell my bills, "Hey, I'm working on my building right now, so I'm not making any money." In fact, I'm spending money usually if I'm working on my building. So I can't tell my bills, "Hey, don't show up this month because I got work to do on my building." I have to keep working. It's a juggling act. And so, but I got something done today. I'm happy with that. And the good news in video land is it doesn't count as a whole episode. I told you I was going to finish this section in this episode, so we'll do that. I'll be back tomorrow to put a splint on this thing and get this truss straightened out, but I'm happy with what I got done today. I got something done. And I'd say peace out and I'll be back, but see, we're back already. Well, I'm getting a much earlier start today, and I'm not going to be drug away from working on the building today. We're going to get a full day in. There's still frost on the ground back by the RV, but what worked against me during the summer was that out here at the building site and in the front pasture, there is no escaping the sun. Well, that's going to work in my favor today because out here it's nice. Matter of fact, I'll probably be shucking my jacket here in a minute, but I would much rather work in weather like this than when it's 100 degrees out and you know, you start getting worried. Anyways, yesterday I did manage to get the bottom beam, I guess they would call that the foot of the truss foot. Anyways, the beam that goes across the bottom was all out of whack, and I got it back in whack and it's secured. I looked at it this morning, it's still looking really good. So now what I need to do is get the two top pieces of the truss straightened out, and I showed you yesterday how really warped those are, but we're going to get them all straightened out. I will actually set up the camera before I start working on them, and you can see them getting straightened out. But what I'm going to do first, and I'll show you on the other camera, is I'm going to put in the web bracing. So I'm going to get my 10-ton jack, my Warren 10,000 building spreader, and put it in place, get those things jacked apart because I'm going off of a square section that I just recently built, and get the truss tops, level, plumb, get them plumb with a level, and then I'll install those web bracings and start putting in some purlins and purlin blocks. I'll do it just like I did the other side, which is to start at the top and work my way down. The only thing I'm going to be doing, yeah, I'll probably do one side at a time so that I can move the Warren 10,000 building spreader down as I go, and then I'll come back and do the other side. But we'll get those trusses perfectly straight, and then when we get them raised up, I've got a square base, and I can go ahead and throw the sheeting on this section if it's perfectly square. Why not? And leave the end open a little bit to build off of, and kind of straighten the other trusses up a little more as I go and keep putting the sheeting on. I think that makes sense. I don't know. I'm not a builder, but I'm going to build it. Let's go. I'm going to do it a little differently this time. Try to speed things up a little bit. I'm going to start up there at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and put all these purlin blocks in position where they go, and I'm going to fasten them with one screw. I'm not going to fasten them from both sides because I still want these trusses to be able to move as I pull them over, but having them in position will keep me from having to pry the trusses apart every time that I want to put another one in. And once I get the truss over and the web bracing in, then I can just go down the line and put in my purlins and finish fastening the purlin blocks and get her done. Don't cringe, folks. We're getting to the good part. Anyway, I got all the purlin blocks in, and they're all fastened to the inside of that truss, but I didn't fasten them to this side because, as you can see, they sit a little, the bottoms of them sit a little lower than they should down here, and that's because everything's leaning this way. When we pull it over that way, the bases of those purlin blocks will get back up in there where they belong. So sit back and watch as we make it more gooder. So what I'm going to do first is get it plumb where the web brace goes, and I will also put in a purlin here to keep it plumb right here, and then I'll work the rest of it. but I went too far. I've really gone too far. That's plumb right there. So I'll go ahead and put my web brace in right here. Yep, right here. Perfectly plumb. That's what we want. If we can get it plumb in one spot, we can get it plumb in other spots. I know it looks bad right now. It'll get better. It'll get better. It's all gonna get better. Now to give it a little more strength where it is plumb, I'll nail off the purlin blocks on the other side in that area, and I'll put a purlin in. Maybe 2 purlins. I'm not going to go too far this time. Which I already have. Whew. One more crank, I think. Just a hair too far. I went too far again. Darn it, Rick, you've gone and went too far again. You've gone too far. Man, that's perfect right there. That's perfect. Does it look perfect to you? Well, I'm kind of encouraged, folks. Does that make me incorrigible? That looks pretty good to me. But still seems just a little out of whack up there at the top. So I decided that since, and look, I don't know if you can tell, I can hide this whole truss behind the post, which is a good sign. It means it's pretty straight. So I thought rather than go ahead and secure, and see, this truss isn't all the way up against the purlin blocks yet. Look, see? So I thought that before I go and secure these purlin blocks and everything over here, I'd come over to this side and fix the major whoop-de-doo that's going on over here. Because let's face it, if it's this far out of whack, and that's out of whack, it's going to shift that other side a little bit when I pull it back into whack. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and go ahead and put the purlin blocks in just like I did on the other side and get the web brace in there. Now's a good time to go. Bye. Before I go ahead and take that crawl along down, my mom calls them a crawl along. Before I take that down, I'm going to go ahead and put one more purlin in there to hold what I've got. That was encouraging. I went to put a mark there and there's a faded one of Lou's old marks. Thanks, Dad. Still helping me. Right on. I'm gonna take the rigging off and move it up to where the web brace goes in, like I did the other side. A little extra time, but it's the right way to do it. That's the spot. Well, it's getting better. It's getting more better, folks. But I just noticed something. Yeah, it's starting to straighten up, but it's a battle of push, pull, tug, shove. And I just noticed something that's been throwing me off. That purlin block up there, right there, not the purlin block, but the purlin going across there, is sticking out about 3 inches this side of that purlin block. See on the other side how the purlin, here I can put you up there, see how that purlin only goes halfway through the block and this one's sticking out the block? I forgot that I put that purlin up there just to keep the truss from falling over. So it's way out of whack. I got to get up there with the Sledge-O-Matic and the chisel crowbar lug wrench thing and pop that off, and I think we're gonna see something nice happen. Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna magically go to where it needs to be, but it's gonna get more gooder. It's gonna get better. Let me go pop that puppy loose. I'll put you guys over here where you don't have the sun in your eyes. Yeah, that's just holding everything all out of joint and cattywampus. What exactly is a cattywampus? Does anyone know? Cattywampus. Who came up with that? Oh, there it is. I've been looking all over for that. But I did find a reasonable facsimile. It's very reasonable. What? What? Is that not attached? It's not attached. Oh. In position, but that's a lot better. Gotta get another purlin in there. You gotta start at the top when you're straightening stuff. You just do. Oh man, you guys, your battery died. You missed a whole bunch of action, Jackson. I went and secured all these purlin blocks. A bunch of them I put screws in because the board didn't really want to go over there, and I don't want these things pulling out. This stuff was really warped. Look at her now, huh? I can hide her behind the post. That's pretty sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and slap some purlins in there, and I'm gonna go over on the other side and slap some purlins in there and do the same thing with the purlin blocks over there that I did over here. I went ahead and put that brace in. I used some really long screws to go all the way through the brace, the truss, and into the purlin blocks. So I got both of those areas where it was a little sketchy covered. There's a little dirt on there. That wood's fine. But now I'm gonna go back over here. Heck, you know what? Now let's just do it. Let's just do it. That tractor can sit over there and run for a minute. Look at how much nicer that is. I'm so happy with that. Thank you, Lord. I was really worried about that last truss, folks. Let's put some purlins in there. Man, this section's almost done. I'm gonna call that a wrap for today. I think we got a lot done for just you guys and me. You know, all you guys in one me today. Let's show you what we got here. I still have to nail these purlins off when I come back out. I'm gonna come back out tomorrow morning. We're gonna do 2 days on the building this week. As you can see, much more gooder. More gooder. I see one little spot where the joint is in that upper truss, where it's sticking out just a hair, but that's why I didn't nail these off. I'm gonna bring Yunkin over here, move this scrap wood out of the way, and put his bucket there and give him just a little nudge right there in that little whoop-de-whoop. But man, you gotta admit, huh? That came a long ways. I'm very pleased. Thank you, Lord, for the progress today. And I got that brace in there to take care of that spot. We got a lot done over here. I've still got a little more tugging and pulling and pushing, but it feels good. It feels good to see this stuff come back into shape, and you know, and I'm gonna get her done, folks. I'm gonna get her done. This one's still got a couple little whoopties, but we know how to deal with them. Look how nice it looks on the other end down there. And then of course this is perfectly straight right here. We'll get this side perfectly straight too, and get the purlins over here. And next week we will raise the final section, and then I'm going to go get some brand new lumber to tie them together. And I'm going to follow some advice that a lot of you have been giving me about cross bracing. This is going to be our foundation. I know that part's already built, and when Lou and Jim and I put that up, it was perfectly square. I don't think it is anymore. As a matter of fact, I know it's not. So my idea is, let's start over here. Let's make this perfect like Lou showed me how to do, and make it all square and plumb and everything. Go ahead and put some metal on this end to a lot of guys have told me that keeps it from shifting and stuff, and we'll get the girts on, and we'll get the girts on the end. And then, if that's what they're called on the end, I don't know, I'm not a builder. But anyway, we'll get this all situated, and then we can use this. And a lot of guys say, oh, don't worry about making it perfect. Look, that up there, that's far from perfect. We want it to be right. So we'll get this up, get some cover on it. Hey, I'll have a little shop area to work in, you know, with a roof over it. And then we'll tie this to it, and we'll just keep making progress. Classic Truck Rescue, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Peace out.